Before the lights dimmed, before the cheers swelled, before anyone could predict what would unfold, there was a split second of silence that felt heavier than the applause itself. In that silence, Jin of BTS stood frozen, his eyes fixed on Jungkook, his youngest member, as a gift was placed into his hands. What happened next was not scripted, not rehearsed, and certainly not planned for the cameras. Jin BTS, the member known for his composure, humor, and emotional restraint, could not hold back his tears. And in that instant, Christmas ceased to be just a holiday. It became a moment that shook ARMY around the world. What kind of Christmas gift makes the eldest member of BTS break down in front of everyone? What unspoken message was hidden behind Jungkook's quiet gesture? And why did this single moment feel heavier than years of performances, awards, and global success? Before we go further, ARMY, pause for a moment. If this story moves you, if you feel the weight behind this moment, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts below because this is not just a story to read. It is a moment to be felt, discussed, and remembered. The atmosphere that night carried a strange mix of warmth and tension. Christmas decorations glowed softly, the mood festive yet intimate, but beneath it all was a sense that something unexpected was about to happen. Jin had smiled all evening, laughing the way fans know so well, playful and light, acting as the emotional anchor he has always been for the group. Jungkook, however, was quieter than usual. Those who know him well could sense it. His eyes lingered longer, his movements careful, as if he was carrying something heavier than a wrapped box. When Jungkook finally stepped forward, the room seemed to hold its breath. No dramatic announcement followed. No long speech. Just Jungkook, standing there, offering a gift with both hands, his expression serious in a way rarely seen. Jin accepted it with a laugh at first, perhaps expecting something playful, something symbolic, or something humorous, as BTS gifts often are. But the moment Jin realized what the gift represented, everything changed. His smile faltered. His eyes softened. And then, without warning, tears welled up and spilled over. Jin tried to speak. He opened his mouth as if to joke it away, to lighten the mood, to protect everyone else from the weight of his emotions. But his voice cracked. He lowered his head, one hand coming up to his face, his shoulders trembling. This was not a performance. This was not a stage persona. This was Kim Seokjin, the eldest Hyung, overwhelmed by something deeply personal. Why did Jungkook's gift hit him so hard? The answer does not lie in the object itself, but in what it symbolized. For years, Jin has carried the invisible responsibility of being the eldest. He enlisted first. He stepped back first. He reassured fans first. He smiled even when uncertainty loomed. Jungkook, the youngest, grew up watching that. And on this Christmas night, he returned something that words could never fully express. The gift was a message, a recognition, a quiet acknowledgement of sacrifices made, of guidance given, of moments when Jin stood strong so others could lean on him. It was not loud, it was not flashy, but it was devastatingly sincere. As Jin cried, the room changed. The festive atmosphere dissolved into something raw and honest. Other members fell silent. Some looked away, some watched with glassy eyes. ARMY watching later would describe the same feeling over and over again. It felt like witnessing something we were never meant to see, yet we're grateful to be allowed into. Why did this moment resonate so deeply with fans around the world? Because BTS has always been about connection, not perfection. They have shared success, pain, growth, and vulnerability openly. But moments like this are rare. This was not about charts or records. This was about human emotion, about a bond formed over years of shared struggle, about gratitude that finally found its way to the surface. Jungkook did not cry. He stood there, watching Jin, his jaw tight, his eyes focused, as if he was holding himself together for the both of them. In that silence, Jungkook's message was clear without being spoken. This was his way of saying thank you. This was his way of saying I see you. This was his way of saying you were never alone. Even when you thought you had to be strong by yourself, fans immediately began to ask questions. Was this gift connected to Jin's time in the military? Was it related to promises made behind the scenes? Did it symbolize something that had been planned for years? The lack of explicit explanation only deepened the emotional impact. BTS has never needed to explain everything. Sometimes, the most powerful stories are the ones left partially untold. As clips and descriptions of the moment spread, ARMY reacted with disbelief and emotion. Many admitted they cried along with Jin, even without knowing every detail. Others reflected on their own relationships, their own unspoken gratitude, their own moments of quiet sacrifice. That is the power of BTS. They turn personal moments into shared emotional experiences. But there was another layer to this moment that cannot be ignored. Jin crying was not a sign of weakness. It was a release. For years, he's been the pillar, the steady presence, the one who reassures with humor and warmth. On Christmas, Jungkook gave him permission to feel, to be vulnerable, to let the weight fall away, even if just for a moment. Isn't that what the holidays are supposed to be about? Not perfection, not constant happiness, but connection, honesty, and love expressed in ways words cannot reach. As the moment passed, Jin eventually looked up, wiping his tears, laughing softly at himself, embarrassed but smiling. The room exhaled. Applause followed, not loud, not celebratory but supportive. Jungkook stepped closer, and although no dramatic hug was staged, the distance between them closed in a way that said everything. This Christmas gift did not belong to Jin alone. It belonged to everyone who has followed BTS's journey, to everyone who understands what it means to give quietly and receive unexpectedly. It reminded fans that behind the global phenomenon, behind the polished performances, are real people who feel deeply and love sincerely. So what really happened that night? A gift was given.
Tears were shed.
And a bond that has always existed became visible in a way that words could never fully capture. Now it's your turn, ARMY. What do you think Jungkook's gift truly represented? Why do you think Jin's reaction was so powerful? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let your voice be part of this story. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss moments that remind us why BTS is more than just music. For Jin, that moment did not end when the cameras shifted or when the music resumed. His expression afterward told a different story. There was a softness in his eyes that had not been there before, a quiet vulnerability that fans rarely see from someone who has spent years shielding others with humor and strength. Christmas, for him, had become more than a date on the calendar. It had turned into a reminder that the love he gives so freely is returned, even if not always spoken aloud. Why does this matter so much? Because BTS has never been just about what happens on stage. Their story has always lived in the spaces between performances, in the moments when words fail and emotions take over. Jin crying was not an isolated incident. It was the culmination of years of shared memories, sacrifices, and silent understanding between 7 individuals who grew up together under immense pressure. Jungkook, standing there that night, represented something equally powerful. He was no longer just the youngest member receiving guidance. In that moment, he became the one offering reassurance, the one reminding his young that strength does not mean enduring everything alone. His gift was not an act of obligation. It was an act of gratitude, carefully chosen and delivered with intention. What kind of bond allows something so simple to carry so much weight? The answer lies in the history fans have watched unfold over the years. From cramped practice rooms to sold-out stadiums, from uncertainty to global recognition, BTS has built a relationship rooted in trust. Jin has often spoken about responsibility, about feeling the need to hold things together when others struggle. Jungkook has often spoken about admiration, about learning by watching rather than speaking. On Christmas, those two perspectives met. As the night continued, Jin's laughter returned, but it was different. Lighter, less guarded. Observant fans noticed it immediately. His interactions felt more relaxed, his smiles more genuine, as if something heavy had been lifted from his chest. The gift had done what no speech could. It reminded him that he is seen not just as a leader or an eldest brother, but as someone worthy of care. And what about the fans watching from afar? ARMY did not simply witness a touching moment. They recognized themselves in it. Many fans spoke about their own experiences, about being the eldest sibling, the reliable one, the person who rarely asks for help. Jin's tears became a mirror, reflecting emotions that countless people suppress during holidays, choosing to stay strong for others instead. That is why this moment spread so quickly. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was honest. The Christmas setting amplified everything. Holidays are often portrayed as joyful, but they also carry emotional weight. They remind people of time passing, of sacrifices made, of relationships that evolve. Jungkook's timing was not accidental. By choosing Christmas, he framed the gift within a moment of reflection, making it impossible for Jin to brush it off with humor. Was Jungkook aware that Jin would cry? Perhaps not. But he likely understood that his message would reach somewhere deep. Jungkook has never been one for grand speeches. His sincerity has always shown through actions, through small gestures that speak louder than words. That night, his silence was intentional. He let the moment belong to Jin. The other members, though not at the center, played a crucial role simply by allowing the space to exist.
No interruptions.
No jokes to deflect the emotion.
Just quiet respect.
That alone speaks volumes about the maturity and depth of their bond. AS fans revisited the moment again and again. New interpretations emerged. Some saw it as closure, others as reassurance, others as a promise of continued support. The beauty of it lies in its openness. BTS did not explain it, and they did not need to. The meaning was allowed to live in the hearts of those who watched. This raises a question that lingers long after the tears have dried. How often do we acknowledge the people who quietly hold everything together? Jin's reaction reminded everyone that even the strongest need to be recognized, to be thanked, to be seen. Jungkook's gift was a reminder that gratitude does not need to be loud to be powerful. Sometimes, the most meaningful moments are the ones that catch us off guard, stripping away defenses we did not realize we were carrying. As Christmas ended and schedules resumed, this moment did not fade. It became part of BTS's ongoing story, a chapter fans will return to whenever they need to remember why they fell in love with this group in the first place. Not because of perfection, but because of authenticity. So when people ask why Jin cried, the answer is not simple. He cried because the weight of being strong was acknowledged. He cried because love was returned in a form he did not expect. He cried because, in that moment, he did not need to protect anyone else. And Jungkook, he gave a gift that cannot be measured, wrapped, or replicated. A gift of understanding. Now the question turns to you. What did you feel when you imagined that moment? Did it remind you of someone you need to thank, or something you have yet to say? Share your thoughts, let your voice join this conversation, and stay connected. Because stories like this are not just about BTS. They are about all of us, learning when to give, when to receive, and when it is finally okay